Filming for the Batman sequel is starting on November 23rd, as announced by executive producer Michael Uslan. This implies that full-scale production will kick off just 2 weeks later. In a recent interview, Robert Pattinson mentioned that the Warner Brothers and Matt Reeves demanded more muscle mass from him than in the first movie. This decision makes sense considering the upcoming sequel is a direct continuation of Bruce Wayne's storyline. In the finale, Wayne realizes that vengeance is not the sole means of crime fighting. In the initial dark and Fincher-inspired movie, the iconic vigilante confronts the Riddler, who embarks on a ruthless killing spree targeting corrupt members of the Gotham Council and authorities. While the Bat solidifies his role as a hero to the citizens, he doesn't necessarily save the day. By the film's conclusion, Riddler's explosive reign of terror leaves the city forever altered. Now he has evolved into a true defender of Gotham with a glimmer of hope in his heart. This transformation will serve as the central plot line for the sequel. So, we'll witness a more morally mature Batman, someone who has managed to overcome or at least control his internal struggles and wrath. Matt Reeves is returning as the director, and the entire film crew that worked on the first part is making a comeback. With the project in the hands of the OG creators, there's no need to worry about drastic changes on set. The Batman Part 2 has the green light to kick off production ASAP. Warner Brothers Pictures has even announced the release date, October 3rd, 2025. Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson have ample time to bring the sequel to life and hopefully deliver a movie even better than the first. As fans might already know, James Gunn has joined DC as studio boss and visionary of all new cinematic universe alongside Peter Safran, but the Batman sequel hasn't been affected by the recent leadership change. It was confirmed that Reevesverse will exist under a completely separate banner called DC Elseworlds, to distinguish it from the main line of movies set in the same continuity. This means that the Batman 2 and the Penguin spin-off series, which will air on Max, take place away from everything else, and Matt Reeves doesn't have to worry about other DC characters or movies crashing into his grimy take on Gotham City. When it comes to the rest of the cast, it's not just Robert making a return. Colin Farrell has officially confirmed his involvement, not only as the central figure in the Penguin show, but also as a significant character in the Batman 2. Reports suggest that the events of the spin-off will unfold a week after the first Batman. The series will delve into the resurgence of Oswald Cobblepot's crime empire in Gotham, all while the Dark Knight remains unaware. Colin Farrell has stated that the Penguin is a crucial project for the whole Reevesverse, and many storylines will continue in The Batman 2. This suggests that Cobblepot will become a key antagonist in the future, and I'm glad Farrell is returning to the role. Additionally, Paul Dano, who portrayed the Riddler, has revealed that he has a contract for a total of 3 projects. I believe Edward Nashton could very well make an appearance in the second film, considering he wasn't killed, but rather confined to Arkham State Hospital. His cellmate is Joker, portrayed by Barry Keoghan, who explicitly mentioned that Gotham loves a comeback story. It's interesting that he's already incarcerated, indicating that they've already crossed paths with Batman before the events of the first movie. Moreover, in a deleted scene, we were shown Bruce seeking his help in the Riddler case. In this universe, Joker isn't just a sadistic clown, he's highly intelligent. There's information suggesting that the scars on his face aren't the result of falling into a vat of acid at Ace Chemicals, but rather an incurable skin disease that has progressed significantly, even destroying bone tissues and hair follicles. Something akin to ichthyosis or leprosy. Matt Reeves noted that his iteration of the Joker differs significantly from all previous adaptations, even hinting that he is strategically smart. Could this be confirmation that in the past Joker was a police officer? That would indeed be a captivating plot twist. A person who initially aimed to benefit Gotham and society to serve justice, eventually becoming its biggest threat. Witnessing internal corruption, lies, and murders, he became disillusioned with the whole justice system, ultimately transforming into its antithesis. The progressing disease would then contribute to his descent into madness. Personally, I would love to see such an origin story for the Joker. His line about comebacks might be a teaser for future plots, and it seems likely that we will witness iconic villains escaping from Arkham and spreading anarchy on the streets of Gotham in upcoming movies. I think it might be too early for such a storyline. The entire Reevesverse hasn't been fully explored yet, with only one full-length film released so far. If the creators decide to adapt such an expansive narrative about the Arkham Asylum breakout in the sequel, it could be a flop. I believe Matt Reeves understands this and strategically left a little teaser in the first movie, hinting that this might unfold in the trilogy, allowing for a more gradual and detailed exploration of the script. Regarding the plot of the sequel, it recently became known that Dick Grayson might make an appearance. This news left many fans puzzled, thinking it might be too early for Robin. However, no one explicitly stated that Robin would appear. It could be a cameo by Dick Grayson. In DC Comics, he was a talented acrobat in the Flying Grayson Circus alongside his parents, known for their remarkable tricks. After the tragic death of his family, Bruce became his guardian, and the boy began training and living under his guidance at Wayne Manor. It was only later that he became Robin, assisting Batman in the crime fighting. I caught a hint about Dick Grayson's potential appearance even in the first movie. In the last scene between Batman and Catwoman, Selina mentions that she's heading to Bloodhaven. Bloodhaven is a city in the DC universe, first introduced in the initial issue of the Nightwing. In the updated timeline, this is where Dick Grayson lived. It's quite plausible that Catwoman might introduce Grayson to Bruce in the sequel. In the Batman 2, Bruce Wayne will also make more public appearances, engaging in philanthropy and charitable activities. It will be him who aids in the restoration of Gotham and addresses budgetary issues. However, the central focus of the plot will remain on the main villain. Now let's delve into that aspect of the story. Matt Reeves hasn't officially confirmed who Batman will battle in the sequel, but the director previously told Collider that he'd love to see how Mr. Freeze would work in a realistic setting. He said, "In my view, I just feel drawn to finding the grounded version of everything." So, to me, it would be a challenge and an interesting way to try and figure out how that could happen. Even the idea of something like Mr. Freeze, that's such a great story, right? Reeves explained that he believes there's a realistic way to bring Mr. Freeze to the big screen. Victor Freeze became an iconic villain thanks to his tragic backstory and unique character. In the episode of Batman, the animated series titled Heart of Ice, he was initially a doctor striving to find a way to save his terminally ill wife, Nora. However, everything was disrupted due to the interference of his superior Ferris Boyle. Boyle, aiming to expedite results and seize Freeze's researches, barged into the laboratory. In the ensuing confrontation, the lab was damaged and Nora ended up frozen. Victor blamed Boyle for this tragedy and was accidentally exposed to cryogenic radiation, altering his body and transforming him into Mr. Freeze. This tragic situation served as the turning point for his evolution into a chilling villain. His constant struggle to save Nora created a profound and human aspect to his character. This touching tale of empathy combined with his coldness and desire for vengeance makes him a unique and memorable villain in Batman's world. While his origin is among the best among DC antagonists, his appearance and abilities do raise some questions. How will Matt Reeves portray Mr. Freeze in such a grounded and gritty movie series? This question is one for screenwriters and concept artists. Nevertheless, Mr. Freeze is the prime contender for the role of the main antagonist in the sequel. Second in line is Clayface, and there has been a considerable amount of insight into his character as well. Fans likely find themselves grappling with a similar question as they did with Mr. Freeze. Just take a look at Clayface and try to envision him in the Reeves-verse. Nevertheless, I have some options in mind. Given the tone of the Batman, it seems very possible that he'll be portrayed as a serial killer challenging the Caped Crusader. In this scenario, he could be a master of disguise, prompting everyone to look twice as he employs camouflage and subterfuge to infiltrate even the most secure environments. Reeves and Robert Pattinson's take on Batman and his budding cinematic universe are steeped in gritty crime noir, but Clayface's inherently tragic origins and presence he brings shouldn't disqualify him either. Basil Karlo's acting background and Phantom of the Opera influences could easily make him a foreboding presence in the Batman 2 without feeling out of place. Following the rumors and reports, it seemed probable that if Reeves chose to include Clayface, he might opt for the Golden Age version. In this iteration, he is a vindictive actor turned serial killer. His rage stems from the remake of the horror film in which he originally starred, prompting him to adopt the persona of the villain he portrayed to pursue and terrorize the new cast. It's logical within the Batverse, considering it's challenging to envision Pattinson's dark detective facing a colossal CGI monster. Such an approach might also seem repetitive given the previous year's movie. However, even in the contemporary DC Comics era, Basil Karlo has become the most recognized incarnation of Clayface. The source material cleverly combines his acting origins with the monstrous depictions seen in later versions, which have gained more popularity. In the grounded world of the Batman, sequel may not necessarily have to completely remove all the fantastical elements from the villain to make him compelling. As demonstrated by Batman, the animated series, and recent comic books like Batman One Bad Day, there's ample space for a humanized sense of tragedy and eerie body horror to enhance Reeves' character-driven narratives. The first movie brilliantly highlighted Batman's detective skills within a street-level scope and gritty crime noir ambiance. If these reports prove true and Clayface takes center stage in Part 2, it could signal the potential introduction of more eccentric villains. Despite Reeves' relatively grounded take, he has skillfully presented monster invasion and talking apes in a way that feels authentic. With creative liberties to explore Basil Karlo's origins and incorporate the body horror scene in later versions, there's an opportunity for a believable and unique take on the character. This could even open the door for clever meta-commentary on the cutthroat nature of show business, providing the villain with a distinct motivation. While James Gunn and Peter Safran's Brave and the Bold may venture into a Batman's more fantastical and classic realm, Reeves has proven adept at blending serious and intimate tones. This suggests that even characters with inherently campy concepts like Mr. Freeze could find redemption in Reeves' Batverse. Subscribe.